What's going on, everyone? Dalvazar here with another Digimon TCG related video, this time coming at you with a deck profile focused around the red WarGreymon. This is probably, I guess, what you would consider a little bit more of a budget build. We are not running any OMNIMON at all, and really no super high cost cards. Probably the most expensive cards that we're running in this deck are currently maybe around $12 to $15, give or take. But you'll see what those are when we get to them. So yeah, this is coming at a actually a comment request from one of my last deck profiles from Jesus or Jesus. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but thank you very much for your comment. I do appreciate it, and I thought this sounded like a really fun deck. I like building decks around just specific Digimon. WarGreymon was actually the first deck that I ever built back when I was testing out the Japanese cards. So, this is a little bit of a build on that original deck, but using some 1.5 cards that weren't really there at the time. So, let's go ahead and get started. What we're doing right now is checking out the babies, which are 1 Coromon and 4 Gigimon. One of the keys to this deck is just building up your Digimon a lot. Since you're stopping at level 6, you don't really have that oomph of the level 7 power. So the best thing that you can do is build up your level 6s to match or overtake a level 7 if they need to. So that's why we're running the Gigimon and the Coromon. Gigimon's just a little bit more consistent than Coromon. If you don't have the Gigimon, feel free to run 4 Coromon. Feel free to run like Biyomon. Even Poromon's pretty good. I think all the red babies have their strengths. These are just kind of the more consistent ones that I've found. And they tend to be the ones that most people run. Alright, and then next for the rookies. Of course, we are running 4 of our main man, Agumon. Great card. This is from the starter deck. It gives your Digimon plus 1000 DP when it's an evolution source. Really good. Pretty much a staple in any red deck, to be honest. So that's why we're running 4 of them. Next, continuing on the plus DP train, we are running 4 of the promo Agumon. This one's a little bit more expensive right now. I think it runs anywhere from $8 to $10, depending on where you get it. But I do think that they're worth the pickup. They give plus 2000 DP while the Digimon has Greymon in its name. That doesn't apply just to straight Greymon. That will apply to MetalGreymon, Skullgreymon, WarGreymon, BlitzGreymon, all those Greymons. So it's only going to get better as we're getting more Greymons. It's a little bit weak on its own, but still pretty good. Next, we are running 3 Biyomon, the Memory Giver. This one's a really good one just because you're a little bit more memory starved in this deck as you would be in the other red decks, because this one doesn't run as many turbo cards to get you to level 7. So having that extra memory on your turn to get you from 3 to 4 is pretty nice. And it can help you get out a WarGreymon and then be able to use it that same turn. And then we are also running 3 Monodramon. I was playing around with the ratio of whether I wanted to run 2 of these and then 4 Monodramon. I think you could go either way. It depends on what you want. I liked getting the extra memory more than I liked saving the memory, if that makes sense. So that's why I went with this route. You could also add another just anywhere here if you wanted to. But yeah, that's just the ratio that I'm running. And it seems pretty good so far. And I am enjoying it. And next we are running 4 of the starter deck Greymon. This is just a really good one because it gives your Digimon security attack plus 1. Basically, the theme of this deck is build your Digimon as powerful as you can and give them security attack when they can. And then with that, hopefully you can kind of out-aggro your opponent. And then speaking of building things up, we are running 2 of the BT1 Greymon. This just gives your Digimon plus 2000 DP. It's a little more expensive than we kind of want at a 2-cost evolution, but it is pretty good. Just because WarGreymon is only an 11,000 attacker. Sure, he doesn't activate option cards when he swings into security, but he will die to most other level 6s and level 7s in the in the security. So it's good to build him up as good as we can. And then we are also running 3 DarkTyrannomon. It's pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. It's a 1-cost Digivolution card. I was debating running 4, but decided on 3 just because I don't think it's as crucial to Digivolve super fast in this deck as it is like something like Omnimon. It definitely has its merits, but I feel like running the 2 Greymon is a little bit better just because I want to have my level 6s be a little bit more powerful. And then we are also running 3 Coredramon. Normally I run 4, but in this particular deck I would rather see like an extra DarkTyrannomon or the 2 Greymon. You could take out one of these Greymon for a 4th Coredramon if you really want to, but I personally like seeing him a little bit more than I like seeing Coredramon in most games. In most games, the extra blocker is not going to make too much of a difference, but in the odd game that it does, well, you're gonna definitely feel that. Now on to the level 5s. First, we're looking at 4 Groundramon, just turboing to level 6 at this point. It's a 2 cost to evolve, 5 cost to just play outright, which is why I chose it off of, or over, let's say, Garudamon. You can go with Garudamon if you prefer that card. I just like this one because it's a low cost to play. We are running 2 Skullgreymon. Blockers are a big thing against this deck because it doesn't have anything too powerful to swing over them, and then it relies on security attacks. So if you can just play this down, destroy that blocker, and then Digivolve into like a WarGreymon next turn, really nice. Next we are playing 2 MetalGreymon. A really good aggressive aggro card. It does a security check basically 3 times. You lose 5 memory doing it, but a lot of the times that's worth it. Especially if you have like one of these Greymons underneath it. Personally, I would prefer getting like a promo Agumon into the BT1 Greymon into this. Gives it plus 4,000 DP, so it's at 13,000. So it's pretty much not going to die to anything in security unless you're fighting red or blue. Or black, I guess, because they run Ultra S. And I guess maybe MillenniumMon as well. But it's really good. And then as a little tech card that I've been testing out because I just like the card, 1 Garudamon. This one's really good because it has piercing, but not only that, it has the it has the inheritable where if this Digimon is blocked, you get to draw a card. I really like it. I'm not sure if it's really the most optimal one here. I kinda might want to put an extra MetalGreymon in instead of this, or maybe put in like a Garudamon just to kind of get a little bit faster with the deck. But I'm having fun with it. Again, this isn't like supposed to be the best top tier deck around. This is more of a fun budget deck, so if you can get the cards, I say play them. There are more than a few substitutions that you can make, and we'll go over a few of those later. But for level 6s, of course, this is a WarGreymon deck, so we're going with 4 WarGreymon. This is the BT1 WarGreymon, not the starter deck one. I feel like this one's a little bit better just because it's cheaper to play, and it gives you that effect where if you can attack the first turn that you play it, security attack +1, and then if during your turn, it doesn't activate security cards in the security pile. So, really good. It's a little weak being at 11k, but that's why we have so many inheritable cards that give it that extra oomph to get over things like Craniumon, Ceresmon, Greymon, anything like that if you want to take them out, or just not die in security, because nothing's worse than getting this guy with like 2 or 3 security checks and then running it into an Omnimon the first check. It's really sad. It has happened. It's not fun. Next we're running 2 BlitzGreymon. This is just a really good other Greymon to play. It gives Digivolve 2, and it also has piercing, so you can run into any blockers with this, or just anything that they have suspended. Really good. It's 4 costs, it's a little expensive, but that's why we run the Biyomon to hopefully give us that extra memory at the beginning of our turn to hopefully get this out and be able to attack with it. Next, we're running 2 Volcanicdramon. This is basically just because we aren't running the Ultra S in this deck. It's good removal and good board clear against super low-cost aggro decks like Rookie Rush. It also gives security attack +1, so it's still working in that theme of our deck. It's 10k again, so it's pretty weak. So you're gonna, hopefully if you build into it, you want to build onto things like Greymon and MetalGreymon. BT1 Greymon, that is. Next for Tamers, going with 2 Tai, and then 1 Tai. So 2 of the BT1 Tais, 1 starter deck Tai. I was debating on like the ratios here, but I think this one suits as well. The starter deck 1 Tai is really good because it gives that extra 1,000, which you really need in this deck. That extra 1,000 makes so much of a difference in so many situations. And then the 2 regular Tai, or BT1 Tai, because it gives you 3 memory at the start of your turn. You want to get this out. I was debating running 3 of these. It felt a little clunky doing that, but I might go back to it and test out some more games. But just like this, it's been pretty consistent, and you really want one of these out. So if you can play one of these early, I would do it. And then the last thing that we run in the deck is, of course, for Gaia Force. This is the only option card that we're running in the deck. I feel like, with red specifically, I want to see more Digimon than I want to see option cards, so I usually never run any other option cards than this. This is definitely going to be one of the more expensive cards in the deck, just because every red deck is playing it. If you can't get any of these, of course there are other options that you can get, like Shield of the Just. There are other options that you can also play in addition to this. You could do like Gravity Crush. If you know that you're going to be going against like a Rookie Rush deck, Giga Destroyer is another card that you can run. But at least how it is, and especially because we don't have the Omnimon removal, that's why we're running 4 of these. Otherwise, I might take 1 out and only run 3 if we had like an Omnimon or something else that could easily remove. But since we don't, running 4. But yeah. And let's go ahead and talk about a few things that you could do to this deck to like make it a little bit better. So again, this is a more budget deck, more of a fun deck. So it is definitely open to some improvements. Principle of which is, of course, let me grab it here. The most card that would be an improvement to this deck is Omnimon. Don't go out of your way to go buy or spend $100 to buy this card. It's not worth it. If you were lucky enough to pull it, though, in a pack, definitely put it in this deck. It only makes it better. What you remove for it, you can remove a Gaia Force, like I mentioned before, because it's just another removal. You might want to remove 1 WarGreymon, just because you still have 3 of them. And I feel like having that kind of balance around all of them, or the other 2 level 6s, is still really nice to have. Same thing with Alter S. In this situation, I might say take out either the WarGreymon or maybe even the Volcanicdramon over here, just because it acts kind of like the same type of card. But these are the 2 biggest improvements that you could probably make to this type of red deck. Again, though, don't go and buy these cards as singles. It's really not worth it unless you really want to just play competitively. If you're just playing for fun, it's not worth it. Don't do it. I was lucky enough to pull 2 Ultra S from the boxes that I bought. I was lucky enough to pull 1 Omnimon, and I did end up buying another one back when they were a lot cheaper. I think it was like $60. Still too expensive for a card, but I just really wanted it because I wanted to play with Omnimon. But yeah, if you are lucky enough to pull them, definitely put them in there. And if you do, it's not a bad idea to maybe put in a Phoenixmon as well, just because it helps you turbo into it. And it is a really strong, really nice to see level 6. Personally, I just don't have it in here because it doesn't do much for the type of build that I'm going for. Other megas that you could potentially put in. Starter deck, WarGreymon, Gallantmon, both great megas. They are level 4s, or they are 4 cost to Digivolve, so they're a little bit more expensive. But they do have their good situations. Gallantmon especially is good against cards that are putting a lot of cards into their trash. So if you have a friend that's playing purple, play Gallantmon or 2. They'll be angry at you, and it'll be fun. other decks or other cards that you might want to like play around with. Love Garudamon. He's a more expensive, more powerful level 5 that's cheap to evolve into. He's really good. Personally, because he's a 7 cost, I don't play him over Groundramon, but you can if you think that you might be attacking more with your level 5s, just because it has a better chance of surviving. And then, of course, you can run another Tai. Might be good. Again, that's what I was playing around with first, but I like having the once starter deck Tai in place of this. And then running any more Tamers just felt a little bit too clunky in my test games, but test it out. Do what you want. And then some other rookies that you might consider. Biyomon and Agumon, the BT1 version. This helps you get out your Tamers a little bit faster, but it doesn't play them. It just adds them to your hand, so you're still paying that extra cost. It's not super great, but Biyomon's pretty good. It gives your Digimon plus 1,000 if your opponent has 5 or more cards in the trash. So that's really good. This helps getting things more powerful. I opted for the Biyomons and the cheaper cost Monodramons over this. But again, play around, see what you like. But yeah, those are just some kind of basic substitutions that you can make. And then your basic builds with this deck will be kind of going into Agumon, either of the Agumons, and then kind of building up from there. Usually you'll want to go into either of the Greymons, just to kind of build up either a heavy hitter or a security attacker. It always helps to build up at least 2 or 3 different Digimon at the same time. If you're playing against a red or blue deck, try to avoid having them both on the field at the same time because they're both Greymon and you could get hit by an Omnimon. So in those situations, you might go for a DarkTyrannomon instead. Or you might go for even a Coredramon. And then, if you can, you want to Digivolve into a MetalGreymon or even just a Groundramon for the speed. And then, if you get a heavy hitter WarGreymon like this, who is at 15k, potentially 16 from the baby, it's going to swing over anything in security. It's going to get an extra security attack from Greymon, plus its own effect if you're attacking during your turn. It's going to be great. But yeah. So these are the cards that I chose for my kind of budget WarGreymon deck. I'm enjoying the deck so far. I might do another deck similar to this. So if you have any ideas or any requests on Digimon that you want to see a deck built around, let me know. I love building just fun decks. That's definitely more of my passion than competitive decks. So if you have a Digimon that you just really like and you haven't seen any decks built around them, let me know. I can see if I can build one around it just for fun. I think I'm going to do a blue Metal Garurumon deck after this. Again, without the Omnimon, because not everybody has those. And I think it'll be fun. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any suggestions on what I could do to improve the deck, or anything that you're running differently in your personal deck than I'm running in mine, let me know in the comments. I appreciate you for watching anyway, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you everyone for watching. Bye, friends.